Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I was scrolling briefly looking on to see what Michael Burry's been up to, and I have to admit what I found was rather surprising and perhaps a little bit disturbing. I hadn't checked up on him in some time, ever since he started to short 30-year treasury securities. You can watch a video about that explaining what's going on here, I'll link it. We're back here on the regulatory filings for Michael Burry's investment firm, Sign Asset Management LLC. You can find this information on whalewisdom.com if you want to check it out for yourself. And what really caught my eye was that Michael Burry doesn't have much in stocks. So actually I looked up here, and on a typical day, Michael Burry with his fund is managing over $600 million in investments. But looking here, you can see sold all, sold all, sold all. He did a lot of selling recently. And this most recent filing is from the 30th of September 2021. So it's a little bit old. Obviously, when you're looking at filings, you're always a quarter behind. So I added up the numbers here. You look, he only has $38 million in stocks out of his typical $638 million. So that means he has only 6% stocks right now, meaning he sold out of 94% of his stocks. And what's interesting about these sells is he was getting out of everything, right? So he was stopping his bet against Cathie Woods and her ARK funds, selling out of Google. He even sold out of his bet against Tesla. And if you look on the guy's Twitter, he used to all day, every single day, when he still had his Twitter account, obviously it's deleted now, he used to rant and rave about Tesla and electric vehicle companies being overvalued all day long. But if you look at this now, he sold out of his bets against Tesla, right? So this was a Tesla put. It was a pretty large one too. I mean, he had millions in it. That's gone. And then on top of that too, you'd think, okay, maybe he's finally admitting he's wrong on Tesla if you happen to think he's wrong about Tesla. The extra weird thing is that Burry has been talking about how inflation is going to wreck the economy forever. And he thought the best way to approach this was going against treasuries, right? But he even sold out of his positions in the 30-year treasuries, both the put and the call. So what does this mean? Why is he selling out of everything? Whether it seems like he's right or wrong, it doesn't seem to matter. He's selling out of every single one of his core convictions. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But how we can find the answer to that question is by looking at what remains. And we shouldn't put too much stock in this because this is only 6% of his original portfolio. But he's still holding on to CVS. That's a consumer staple. People are really getting their basic daily necessities out of there. He has one defense company, LMT, Lockheed Martin. You can see that right here. Nothing too crazy there. Everybody knows what Lockheed Martin's all about. And then finally, he's still holding on to GEO, which I know already GEO and CXW are two private prison companies. And then beyond that, these two remaining stocks are too small to even really consider. So let's look at the questions. Why is he still holding on to CVS and Lockheed Martin and then private prison companies still? But at the same time, he's selling out of what he considers bubbly stocks, right? So that when he was betting against Cathie Woods, Tesla, and even the treasuries. So what's going on here? So to answer the question, I'm sure many of you are wondering, why is he selling so much? What exactly is going on? I've looked around the internet, and after reading a whole slew of articles about Michael Burry and what's going on, I've come to the conclusion that none of them are really catching what I think is going on. My personal opinion is that Michael Burry did something similar to what I did. I apologize for the white screen here, I'm off dark mode. If I had to guess, Michael Burry sold out of most of his stocks, most of his paper investments here in the filings, because he realized with how dangerous the market is, with how dangerous the fiscal policy is, with all the inflation and money going around now, he sold completely out of the market, realizing that there's no safe harbors in stocks anywhere. And if I had to guess, again, he did something very, very similar to me, is that he got his money out of his stocks into more real and tangible assets. So I don't want to talk about this too much. You can see here, around November of 2020, around October of 2020, I was seeing what was going on. You can see videos and Telegram posts I've made on the channel where I thought, okay, there's going to be a stock market rally coming up here. It's going to be fake. People are going to realize it's fake. People are going to finally catch up to it, and that inflation is going to be wrecking prices. I sold out of 90% of what I was holding, and the remaining money I did have, I focused it into really tangible things like farmland, which you can see has done insanely well this past year. I'll show you. I was thinking, well, if I'm going to be in any stock, it's got to be tangible, it's got to be safe. So I decided to focus on this stock right here, Gladstone Land, which is an agricultural farming company. And you can see from the Corona crash to today, it's 3x, and now actually at points before when it was trading around $35, it was approaching a 4x in valuation. So going back to Michael Burry, my opinion is he sold out of everything because he realized stocks are not the place to be. Most of this is just funny money, inflation money going around, making huge valuations, and this is all going to crash. So he probably thought that he should take out all of his money and then just secure his immediate life. So I'm talking like personal autarky. I wouldn't be surprised if he's going as far as setting up his own like ranch or his own residence, or, you know, putting up barbed wire on his property. What I'm talking about is a phrase on this channel. It's called personal autarky, where if you have all your daily needs secured, if you can produce your own food, your own energy and all that, you don't need to worry about necessarily there being a massive currency crash like you see in Turkey, or an economic crash that we've seen in previous decades. If I had to guess, he thinks there is going to be a crash. He's been saying this for a long time. If I had to guess, he not only thinks that there's going to be a major crash, but also soon, because Under normal circumstances, you don't want to be out of the stock market for a long time because prices of stocks can quickly shoot up when times are good. And if you're holding cash, you get left far behind in the dust if you do that. With Michael Burry, as of September, in 94% cash, I think this signals that he thinks there's going to be a major crash soon. Now, if you remember, about 1 year before, I made the same thing when he had those investment positions against U.S. Treasuries and the U.S. currency. I think this is 3 times worse of a sign compared to how that was before. And that's what I did too. I realized that the market was going to enter very dangerous, unprecedented waters, and I got out and I focused on my immediate needs, which is obviously energy production, food production, stocking up, saving, personal autarky, that's what I like to call it. And I think that we have some good evidence to back this up. So there's obviously a tweet here from the Michael Burry archive, and it says, "For what it's worth, I've never shorted any cryptocurrency. This is my 3rd bubble." So why is he framing this in terms of a bubble? Think about this. And the biggest. I've learned a thing or two. 30-year treasuries, on the other hand. So he's still referring to the fact that he might be still shorting 30-year treasuries, though in this case, I think the filings don't lie here. I think he did sell out of these positions. And after scrolling through his Twitter and ignoring most of the political bait topics he talks about, if I had to guess, he just thinks that in the short term, cash is the place to be, and he's expecting a crash. I mean, if you look at here, this is a topic he's been going on for some time about. He's talking about speculation a la the 1920s and what happened there. So more speculation than the 1920s, more overvaluation than the 1990s, more geopolitical and economic strife than the 1970s. But this seems to be that he's expecting the mother of all economic collapses. And again, there's more talk here about inflation. You're obviously free to disagree with Michael Burry. I do tend to take his opinion very, very seriously. The favorite people I like to follow in investing are Michael Burry and Martin Shkreli, which is funny. Those are 2 people whose names start with an M. And I think, for lack of a better term, when it comes to investing, they have very non-neurotypical brains. And I always enjoy their commentary, and frankly, their track record is unmatched. So tell me what you guys think. Do you think Michael Burry's been wrong now for about a little over a year and a half consistently, and he's going to continue to be wrong because there is no crash? Or do you think he's onto something, and are you heading for the hills? Again, I put my money where my mouth is. 90% of my money is similar to Michael Burry here. It's out of the market. It's doing other things. It's securing my personal and immediate needs, which I think is amazing because, again, I was doing independently what Michael Burry was doing. From the time I made that old video to now, I hadn't even been following him. And this, surprise, surprise, Michael Burry was up to the exact same thing I was up to. So for the people who do still really like to follow him, I'm going to interject my personal opinion here. I saw a lot of articles saying Michael Burry's new #1 stock is CVS. You need to look at it in context here. Yes, it is 40% of his portfolio, but it's only a market value of $16 million out of his original $600 million. You can see right here. So this is not a typical position. I wouldn't say Michael Burry's, he's all in, lump sum, massive one-shot investment on CVS. I don't think this is. I don't think this investment signals huge confidence in CVS. Under his old portfolio, this would have been a rounding error. So that's all for this video. And I really want to get your opinion on what exactly is going on here with Michael Burry's portfolio. Do you think he's just getting out of the market and heading for the hills? Because that's what it seems that the evidence points to. But obviously we can't know conclusively because he's off Twitter right now. And he doesn't exactly put commentary outside of his Twitter on these filings. We don't know the real reason why he's selling out of everything. I don't think this is the case, but it could be as something as innocuous and simple as maybe he's retiring and he wants to focus on guitars. I mean, he's been tweeting about that a lot recently. But if I had to guess, to me, this signals total loss of confidence in the financial markets. Everything, literally every single possible investment type you have here, he could have bought. He could have bought bonds. He could have bought treasuries. He could have bought normal stocks and securities. He's out of all of it. To me, this is a total loss of confidence. Take this one little data point in your overall model of what's going on in the market and take it into consideration. This is a bad sign. It's not the only sign going out there right now, but it is a bad sign. Catch you next time.